Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Marcus. This is the show where we help you improve your English by talking about real life, real ideas, real conversation, at a level that's easy to follow.
So, if you're at a B1 level, you understand everyday conversations, but fast native speech still feels like a lot, you're in exactly the right place. We speak clearly, we use natural expressions, and whenever we use a word that might be new for you, we pause and explain it.
No boring grammar lessons. Just two guys having a real conversation that happens to teach you English at the same time.
So Marcus, let's start with the big one. Do you have a dream? Something big you've wanted for a long time?
Yeah, actually. I've wanted to write a book for 8 years now. Not just start one, finish it, publish it, hold the actual copy in my hands.
8 years. Where's the book right now?
3 chapters, written about 4 years ago, untouched since then.
So even the guy explaining today's topic is guilty of exactly what we're talking about.
Completely guilty. Which is actually why I wanted to do this episode. I've been thinking about why I stopped, and I think the answer applies to almost everyone.
All right, so give me reason number one. Why do people stop chasing their dreams?
Reason number one is something called the comfort zone. Let me explain that phrase first, because you'll hear it constantly in English. Your comfort zone is the space where everything feels safe and familiar. Nothing new, nothing scary, nothing uncertain. Think of it like your own bedroom. You know where everything is, you know.
Okay, makes sense so far.
Right. But here's the problem. Dreams almost never live inside the comfort zone. Writing a book means risking rejection. Starting a business means risking failure. Moving to a new country means risking loneliness, at least at the beginning. So the moment you move toward your dream, you're automatically stepping outside that safe space. And that triggers fear.
And that fear is why people stop.
Exactly. And here's the part I find genuinely fascinating. Your brain isn't trying to make you happy or successful. It evolved to keep you alive. For most of human history, safe and predictable literally meant alive. And new and uncertain often meant dangerous, like walking into unknown territory where a predator might be waiting. So when you feel that wave of fear about quitting a stable job or starting something new, that's not weakness. That's your brain doing exactly the job it was built to do thousands of years ago, in a completely different world.
That's oddly comforting, actually.
It is, but it's also a little annoying, because that ancient system is still running today, even though the actual danger, writing a bad first draft, for example, really isn't dangerous at all anymore.
So what do you do about it? You can't just switch the fear off.
You can't switch it off, no, but you can learn to act despite it. That's really the whole game. Successful people aren't people who stopped feeling fear. They're people who kept moving forward while the fear was still there. And listeners, here's something worth actually pausing on. Think about your own comfort zone right now. What's one thing outside of it that you've been avoiding for months, maybe even years?
Take a second, seriously.
We'll wait.
Okay, reason number two?
This one might honestly be the most important idea in the whole episode. Most people rely on motivation. Successful people rely on discipline. And those two words sound similar, but they're actually completely different things.
Break that down for me.
So, motivation is a feeling. It's that burst of energy and excitement you get right when you start something new. New Year's resolutions are the perfect example of this. January 1st, everyone's motivated. The gym is completely full. People's notebooks are full of big plans. Everyone's posting about their new goals. But by January 20th, the gym is empty again. Why? Because motivation doesn't last. It behaves like weather. It comes, and then it goes. And you genuinely can't control it. You can't force yourself to feel motivated on command.
So what's the alternative?
Discipline. Discipline means doing the thing whether you feel motivated or not. It's showing up even when you're exhausted. Writing even when you don't feel inspired at all. Practicing your English even when it feels boring that particular day. There's a great quote from a Navy officer named William McRaven, and he talks about making your bed every single morning, without exception. It sounds like a strange thing to focus on. Why does making your bed even matter in the bigger picture? But it's the very first small task of the day, and completing it, even when you genuinely don't feel like it, builds the habit of discipline. And that habit then carries over naturally into everything else you do that day.
So the real question people should be asking isn't, how do I get more motivated?
Right. It's, how do I keep going once the motivation has completely disappeared? That's discipline. And honestly, that's the actual skill that separates people who finish things from people who only start things.
Can you give me a quick example using that word related to learning English specifically?
Sure, something like, I don't always feel motivated to study, but discipline means I study anyway, even on the days when it feels genuinely hard.
Perfect. That's a really clear example. Reason number 3?
Fear of failure, and honestly, for a lot of people, including me, I think this might be the single biggest one.
Why does fear of failure stop your book specifically?
Because as long as I never finish it, I never have to find out whether it's actually bad. Right now, in my head, it's a great book. It's brilliant. But the moment I finish it and show it to real people, that comfortable idea could get completely destroyed. So, in a strange way, not finishing it protects the dream. It's safer to have an unfinished dream than a finished failure. At least that's what your brain tries to convince you.
But that logic has a flaw in it, right?
Huge flaw. Because an unfinished dream is already a failure. It just fails slowly and quietly, instead of loudly and all at once, so it doesn't feel as painful in that exact moment. But if you zoom out over years, the outcome is basically the same. The dream never happened either way.
That's a rough way to put it, but it makes total sense.
There's a really useful expression in English for this whole idea. Fail forward. It means when you fail, you don't stop completely. You learn something valuable from that failure and keep moving ahead anyway. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's actually a necessary part of success. Almost every successful person you can name has a long, long list of failures sitting behind them, usually longer than anyone realizes.
Any specific example come to mind?
J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before Harry Potter was finally accepted by anyone. 12 rejections. Now imagine stopping after the 11th one, right before the 12th publisher said yes.
That's a genuinely painful thought.
It really is. So here's a mindset shift worth trying. Instead of constantly asking yourself, what if I fail? Try asking, what if I never even try? That second question is almost always far scarier once you actually sit with it.